I was interested in the BTP program because both of my parents had gone through it. They were in the first and third cohort, I believe. And it runs in my family. Education runs in our family. We value it really highly. And I always told them I never wanted to be a teacher because that's all they talked about really at home. And then I started as an assistant and I loved it.
Initially, my goal, was to do counseling, but I wasn't quite sure what kind of counseling I had wanted to do. I thought maybe I would worked with kids for a little bit, realized I didn't want to do that. Then thought maybe I'd do addictions counseling, working with families and couples that have addictions issues, and still kind of interested in that. And the GSE has like a certificate program where you're able to get certified, at least take the coursework in addictions counseling. It's kind of a specialization in the counseling field, and so I was able to do that. So initially that's what I wanted to do when I first came into the program, was kids or addictions, and then it kind of switched as I went through the program and decided discovered what I really actually enjoyed liking to do and the types of populations that I liked working with as well.
My first term here, I was in the library and I was looking for a book to do a research project on. And all of my classmates who were already like teachers with degrees, they were like, we're gonna talk about Mesereau, or we're gonna talk about Bloom's theory and taxonomy. And I'm just looking there lost, like I have no idea what any of that means. So I gotta quickly figure out some theories and some terms and pick one to study. So I grabbed a bunch of books. And as I was leaving, there was that Overstock shelf, and on it was just this black book with no title or anything. And at random, I picked it up just out of interest, it looked cool. And I opened it up and it said, The Future of Education by Kieran Egan. And finding that book, completely unrelated, it was not a book I went there for a class or specifically searching out, but finding that book changed my whole thoughts on education and what I wanted to do with it.
At the beginning, they provided us with so much support, and they continued to provide us with that support, but they let us start to experience some things on our own and try to be challenged on our own. And I just love that scaffolding model of doing it together and then letting the students try it out on their own, that has been utilized in this program, and I feel very strong because I was supported so much in the beginning, and then I learned how to support myself.
Blue Bickford has been a big support person for me in this program. There were times when I felt that maybe I was drowning, and he told me that there's just no way that's going to happen. He's going to make sure that I stay afloat.
I should give credit to Sue Lansky, one of my cohort leaders, who really has a hard to define way about her. She's just very calm and very present, and I think I've learned some things just by studying her way with us, her GTEP students in the classroom. I'm used to teaching being engaging when it's really high energy, and I think it was an important lesson to see that you can draw people in just by being relaxed and confident.
Three names jump to my mind when I think about PACE teachers, and I think Andy Job, who brought me into the program and who I took his entire curriculum. I loved Andy. Andy encompasses that feeling of laid back and relaxed, and it helps the knowledge sink in so much. And then Candace Reynolds, who was hugely supportive of me, and is one teacher who's really aware of how technology is shaping education, and she's taking a lot of steps to make sure that her students know how to use some of this technology coming out of the program, which I think is often overlooked, and I think that's great. And I know that in the future I'm going to be looking back and thanking Candace for that. And then of course, Michael Smith, just for being the guy he is.
The most challenging experience, definitely student teaching. It was that kind of experience where I found myself laughing and sweating and crying pretty much every day, outside of the classroom, of course, but incredibly challenging. And at the same time, what made me realize really that I am on the right path, just how much I fell in love with the students and how worth it all of those challenges were, all of the stress and all of the preparation, because of the connection with the students just made me feel renewed confidence that as hard as this feels right now, this is what I want to be doing.
I think a lot of people think of the LSE program and they're not quite sure what to think about it. They think, are people out there, are they all gardening and those sorts of things? And I don't think that's the case. I did this great project where I was fortunate enough to be able to work with my advisor and redesign the curriculum of a training course and embed sustainability, topics of sustainability into a class that had nothing to do about sustainability beforehand. And then on top of that, I had the opportunity to co-teach it.
I think the single most rewarding part of the program was being able to apply what I was learning right away. It was also my biggest challenge, was teaching and working at the same time, but it was something that I think was extremely valuable that I could use over and over. I could just immediately go to class and apply it the next day.
Well, writing a thesis has changed my life. And I chose that over just doing comps in a project, which would have been great. But writing the thesis really took me to the next level. It took me 9 months, and it was 3 years of collecting data. So it just brought a whole new level of relationship with my academic advisor.
There was 2 summers that I had to attend school on campus, and the hardest thing for me to do was to leave my family and come down here. However, I fell in love with the campus, and while down here on campus is where I created lifelong relationships with my colleagues. We became bonded, and I value that immensely.
It's our responsibility now to use the education that we've gained at Portland State and our professional practice and our experiences as students to really change the face of education today. And I think that education is headed in a direction that is not so positive. And if we take everything that we know and learned in our programs, we can change the way that education is headed.
There are going to be hard days, definitely. And there are going to be days where you wonder why we started doing this to begin with. But I think we have to remember that we're making a difference every day. And even though there are challenges, there are obstacles, we're having such an impact on this world and on the future.